I'm Dexter the poet. I am back for another review, and today I'm going to be reviewing Cardi B's Am I the Drama? It came out just recently on September 19th, a couple weeks ago, and I'm very excited to get into it, so let's get started. First and foremost, I was introduced to Cardi a little bit differently than a lot of people, I think. A lot of people knew her as a personality before they knew her as a musician or a rapper and artist. I was personally introduced to her with the song Forever, which is when I then got to know her as a personality and started seeing all of the clips and the edits of her on Love and Hip Hop. I was not a Love and Hip Hop avid watcher at the time, so I didn't really know Cardi B like that. When she came out with Bodak Yellow, I love that song. I thought it was a masterful job. It was a really fun song, and she's basically had a really meteoric rise to fame since that point. Her album Invasion of Privacy won Best Rap Album. It was the first woman to win Best Rap Album since Lauryn Hill, only the second woman overall. Now Doechii is the third, and I'm really excited to get into this album. I've been waiting a long time for Cardi to drop an album, like a full body of work, because I love her songs. I like the singles are great. WAP was great and Up was great, and we're gonna get into the numbers and all that stuff that people are talking about right now a little bit later. But I did enjoy those songs, but frankly, I personally feel like Cardi is best suited to making full bodies of work and like putting out albums. Invasion of Privacy was such a masterfully done album, and regardless of whether you attribute that to her and her choices or her writing or whatever you accredit it to, or whether you give somebody else credit for it, Cardi as an artist herself, I personally feel like full bodies of work is where she shines the most, because it shows her versatility, it shows her ability to work with different flows, work with different types of artists. She worked with Tyler on this album. She worked with Kalani. She worked with Lotto. She did a lot. She did a lot of songs. She did include Up and WAP on this album, which, by the way, she's been saying she was going to do, but people are upset about it. We'll get into that later. For now, let's get into the review of Cardi B's Am I the Drama? First and foremost, opening up the album with the newscaster edits of like the reportings of like she's gone wild and she's killing people and she's taking out these other rap bitches and all that stuff. Super funny, great opening. That song also, by the way, great song. Dead. It's called Dead. And Summer Walker, she did what Summer Walker does. She sang beautifully. She sang some shit that you don't expect to be sung beautifully. So that beautiful opening, great job. And funny, hilarious, as is Cardi. Her personality carries through on her, like in her music. By far one of the people I've seen do it best, like carrying their genuine everyday personality into their music. And on the note of Summer Walker, Cardi B has always worked very well with R&B artists, so that's not a surprise to me at all. And the other R&B artists, Tyler, Kalani, I'm not sure who else, Lizzo. I wouldn't necessarily call Lizzo an R&B artist. She's more a pop artist. But Cardi she's always been very versatile, and she's always worked well with different genres of artists. So that is something that I expected. I kind of, like, personally, I saw that coming. But she did it well. Even just in the opening, she was already experimenting with flows and she was referencing Invasion of Privacy in the bars. Like, she came through with straight bars, like hot and heavy from the first track. I'm also a really big fan of the fact that her press run matched the energy of this album. It was silly. She was in the streets of New York. She She was selling her album on the side of the road. She was selling her album on one of those blankets that you see people with like merch on, like purses and stuff like that. She had her albums out. She was on the train selling it like the kids be selling candy, or the people that be selling candy on the train. She was really doing it up with the promotion, and I love that. I love a good promotional run, as you guys will probably remember from when I did the Clips review. Personally, I feel like she came with all the smoke. She has all the energy for anyone who wants to play on this album. I love it when she does that. I'm a fan of that. Personally, I think it's funny. I think keep it in the music. Like, we're not going to talk about the rest of it because I'm none of my business. That's none of my business. People are going to argue one way or another, but when it comes to the music, it's a job well done. I really enjoyed Imaginary Players and Outside as the singles to the album, like a little teaser, a little taste of what the album was going to be like. I feel like there could have been a little bit of an R&B single because there was so much R&B integrated into the album. But I do think that Outside and Imaginary Players were very good. Like, they were very good choices as well. I think that they were good choices and they made people excited for it. And I think that's what a single is meant to do, make people want to listen to the rest of the body of work. They did a great job with that selection as well. And in terms of Up and WAP, I'm going to reference these now simply because the discourse has been so heavy around it. But they are her songs. They are her songs, regardless of whether they were put out however many years ago. She should be able to put those songs on whatever body of work she pleases. People being upset about the certifications and all whatever, it's beyond me. I don't care about that stuff. It's not that important. Just enjoy the music or don't. It's not that big of a deal. A lot of artists do put like singles that especially when they go long spans of time without putting out a body of work. Like SZA did it. Like Cardi is not the only person to do this, but she's the only person being called out so hard for it because her album broke a record, partially due to that. But that being said, she still made it to #1 on the Billboard charts. And that is something that those singles don't count towards. So I don't know what to say about anything else other than like, you know, you're going to be displeased if you're going to be displeased. I think that lady did what she should have done. Some standout tracks for me. Again, I really like the opening, Dead. Good opening. Summer Walker, again, beautiful voice, did her thing on it. Magnet, I feel like Magnet gave me very mixtape Cardi energy, and with added skill. And I'm a fan of artists dipping into the type of work that they used to do. I feel like a lot of her stuff is very different from her mixtape days, but this was like her kind of stepping back into that bag and showing that she can do that, but she's improved. So that is what that song gave to me, and I really enjoyed it because of that. Bodega Baddie, super fun, super like danceable track. You know, people are making reels and memes and all kinds of stuff. It's a fun song, and like it makes you feel good. It's a feel good song. Salute, she is rapping on Salute. That's all I have to say about that track. She is rapping. She is going off. Safe with Kalani was such a beautiful, like, sweet moment. I really enjoy it when she steps out of her, like, more intense persona to kind of, like, show us that she's still a girl. She's still got that softness. She still enjoys like talking about it and like feeling soft, feeling that way, like enjoying that And I feel like Safe really gave us that energy, that like gentle like version of Cardi. The same thing that she did with that Shakira track, I feel like she kind of gave on Safe. Punteria, that's what it was called, the Shakira track. What's Going On with Lizzo, that was such a great use of What's Going On by Four Non Blondes. That was such a great use of that song. And like Lizzo was the perfect choice for that song. Also, the sentiment carries, and personally, I too would like to know what the fuck is going on. But they killed that song. It was such a good song. Like, she's really rapping on this album. Like, she's not playing with y'all. She's not playing with nobody. Lizzo, amazing job. Great feature. Great choice of feature. All of the features on this album really, truly are. Pretty and Petty was funny. It was childish. It was what a diss track should be. Everything a diss track should be. Childish, petty, funny, interesting, shocking. Like, it was a good diss track. No shade against any of the artists that she dissed on this. I don't know none of these people. I don't know who's telling the truth. I don't know what, whatever, receipts, whatever, all that, none of my business. She put it in the music, and that's what I'm listening to. And I genuinely believe that song was such a good song. It was such a good diss track. It was so funny. I will be looking out for the other artists' diss tracks as well to see how they hold up, if it's like a back and forth, or is there going to be a battle? Like, what does it look like in the grand scheme of things? We're going to see. Also, her referring to herself as the Brim Reaper she's just a funny girl. She's a funny girl. Anyway, I feel like she's the type of person you want to be friends with. She's very charismatic and she's very hilarious, and she puts that into her music as well. Check Please. The flows on Check Please are so good. Like, the way that she's flowing, and like she's doing tricks on the beat. She's like in and out of the pocket. She's just speaking in her speaking voice and carrying with such interesting flows on this song, and it's so good, and the lyrics are so good. I've been feeling like a bad bitch all goddamn day. If you ain't my bitch, you's a bitch in the goddamn way. She's just so funny. She's so funny. And I love that song. That song is going to be on my playlist. It's going to be on repeat. It's going to be the type of song that I play to make me feel, good before I go outside. Like, that's the energy that song is giving me. DJ Honeybee did a mashup of it. She did a mix with Lil Kim's Auto Blanco. And it was so good. Like, I need to hear that. I need to hear that live. I need to hear that in real life. I want Lil Kim on a remix. I want to see it. I want to see it come to fruition. Like, I want to see that. I feel like that would be so good. And like, genuinely, like, she is the drama, especially if she did something like that. Like, she's carrying it through. She's following through on being the drama. So I would love to see a remix with Lil Kim. Principal was a really smart use of that Janet Jackson sample. I personally love that Janet was credited as a feature. I know that people were really upset because she wasn't doing anything new on there or whatever, but genuinely, I feel like somebody like Janet deserves the level of respect of being given like a feature as opposed to just being like paid for a sample. Like, she's prominently in the song throughout the song, even though she doesn't do something new. Her vocals are used throughout the entire song. So I think a feature is warranted. I need y'all to comprehend that reading is fundamental. there have been a lot of posts saying that Cardi is the first female rapper to feature Janet Jackson on her own album. And people do not seem to be understanding that that doesn't mean that Janet Jackson has never worked with another female rapper. It means that she has had them on her own projects or like in other capacities, not on their albums. This is the first time that has happened, that Janet Jackson has been named as a feature on a female rapper's album. And people are naming male rappers, and people are naming Missy, who was on Janet's album, I believe. People are naming other female like vocalists and such. Like, there's no correlation with what people are pointing out and what the fact is. The fact is that Cardi B is the first female rapper to feature Janet Jackson on her own album. That is a fact. It is not up for debate. It is not something you can point out as incorrect because it has been verified. I think Killing You Hoes is a wonderful parallel to the beginning of the album with Dead. She brought it back around. She's talking about how she's killing these hoes. She's rapping, like seriously, so good. Personally, I think that this album was such a great job by Cardi. It's been years since she's put out a body of work. She's kept us interested. She's put out some singles here and there. She's featured on other people's songs. She's been smart about not staying out of the limelight per se, but she's been smart about not putting out her own full body of work. She's still kept us interested. She's done, she did a TV show or a Netflix show. She did like that Facebook series. She's still online. She's still a personality. She's kept us updated with her family. And what I will say is that this particular body of work was a masterful job. She really, really did her big one with this one. And this is a really good return. And she's in fine form. She's not missing a beat. She's not missing a beat. She's not she didn't drop the ball with a single track. Honestly, it was hard not to go track by track. And I almost did because there wasn't a track that didn't stand out in some way for me. So with that being said, for this album, I give Cardi B an A-. I think that this album is a really great body of work. I think it's going to carry. I don't know if it's going to win any awards. I can't say whether yes or no. But for me personally, I think that she did a wonderful job, genuinely. And I really can't say anything particularly negative about the album itself. I think that there were some tracks that stood out more than others. I think that there were some tracks that were they were good, but they weren't carrying certain others. And so that's where the A- comes from. I do think that for where she's at in her career, she's improved immensely. And this album really, really did deserved what it got. It deserved the numbers it got. It deserved the records it broke. I do genuinely think that she's been working very hard, and it shows. And I hope to see people having some level of kindness for this woman who is pregnant and who is, with her fourth child, regardless of what your opinions on her are. I think that it's important to remember that scrutinizing somebody because of their choices is very easy to do when no one's looking at you. And honestly, like, judgment it's a curse. And I that's all I'll say on that, because we're here to talk about the music. So that's my review on Am I the Drama. I believe that I requested last time that people let me know whether they agree with my rating, and I will do the same this time. I want to know what you guys think. I want to hear whether you agree that this deserves an A minus, whether you think it doesn't, or, you know, like whether you don't agree that she's rapping. Also, I do want to mention one thing. I understand that people are very partial to rappers that write their own raps, because that's the key, right? That's the sport. But that being said, the scrutiny that this woman has faced for having writers on her album, credited writers on her album, is absolutely ridiculous. All of your favorites, especially the major ones, especially the big names, have the same or more on their own albums as well. That doesn't mean that they don't write their own rhymes. And people have come out, people who collaborate with her have come out personally to say that she does in fact write her own rhymes, that she does in fact write her own verses, that most of the credits are from hooks, or, you know, like, people that are that big, they have to credit every contributor. And whatever the contribution, whether it's a suggestion to change a small bit of a line, or a suggestion on the cadence or the pace, you credit the people who are in the room working with you for those things, because you want them to get paid for their work, regardless of the size of that contribution. And Cardi credits her writers. She is also credited as a writer. She does write based on the word of her collaborators. And that's really all I have to say on that. Whether you believe it or not, that's really your prerogative. But the judgment and the hate that this lady gets about that is just something that I had to address, because I feel like it's really relevant to the conversation of rap and what's being had right now about authenticity and coming through as your authentic and realist self. So that's my take on Am I the Drama, on Cardi B, on all of the drama that's been going on. And again, please let me know if you agree. That is the end of this video. I am Dexter the Poet. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I am off to the Chance the Rapper show tonight. I hope y'all get a chance to enjoy this album. I hope that you guys are enjoying these reviews, and I can't wait to be back with the next one.